Hey everyone, hope you're doing great. Welcome back. We're continuing our deep dive analysis and review of this Patreon requested book. Let's continue. We are dealing with Imam Maulud's poetry, and it was the fear of poverty topic. Imam Maulud ties fear of poverty with a kindred illness, whose carrier is called Mudahin in Arabic. Okay, that's cool. So Mudahin. It is a person who uses his religion as a means of buttressing his worldly condition. He is a sycophantic hypocrite in his transaction, which culminates in his cheating himself in the most debased way. He compromises his religion in order to achieve worldly gain, often out of fear of poverty or sheer greediness. Okay, so I think that's, every religion worries about that, right? Even, atheists would worry about that within their group. In the Quran, God exposes the disbelievers among the Quraysh who tried to make deals and compromises with the Prophet, peace be upon him, in an attempt to make his religion a means to tend their worldly affairs. Interesting, that's right. God says about them, they would love that you, O Muhammad, compromise so that they may compromise. Quran 68:9. They desire that the Prophet, peace be upon him, praise their gods and their rituals, even though he did not believe in them, and they in turn would not oppress the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Muslims. Ah, yeah, that's right. So, clearly, you're not going to mix and do a mutual exchange of glorification. So, yeah, because you can't associate partners. So, yeah, it makes sense, right? With this deal, the Meccans could keep their grip on the city and the trade caravans that come to it. Okay, so keeping the economic supply chains up. The great historian Ibn Khaldun, okay, well, alright, let's see this. Got a new historian name. Quoted a poet observation of the Muslim societies he came across. We mend our livelihood with the cloth of our religion. In the end, nothing of the religion remains, and our worldly condition goes unmended. We mend our livelihood with the cloth of our religion, so you're shrouding yourself in it. Nothing of the religion remains, and our worldly condition goes unmended. God will never set aright one's worldly affairs when he or she destroys religion. Now, that's a powerful statement, right? Never set aright one's worldly affairs. Because right now, people feel it's the opposite, right? They see lots of, dark arts people and just strange, bizarro people seeming to have very substantial estates and such. Yet we don't really know what goes on in their personal life, so we can't measure it fully, but I can see if people take terms, with that guy when he says that. Mudahana is from the root word duhun, which means to cover something up with paint or cosmetics. Sheikh Muhammad al-Yadalum says that mudahana is when a man gives up his religion in order to secure his wealth or his blood, sitting with the people of disobedience, keeping their company, praising their actions, and displaying pleasure at their condition without condemnation. Oh. Gives up in his religion to secure wealth. Sitting with the people of disobedience. I mean, if they're at a baseball game, and you're at a baseball game, are you sitting with them? Okay, I understand, like, if they're having a party, you don't go to the party, but you're literally going to be sitting around all kinds of people. Keeping their company. If you are a politician and you're working, you're going to have all kinds of bimbos coming in there. If you're a police officer, you're a judge, you're going to work with people, so you kind of got to, you're not exactly keeping their company, because this makes it more of like a friend acquaintance relationship coming to visit you. But I get, like, if you don't have, like, some thuggish gangbanger showing up. But there's going to be people who are not part of your faith that you won't really know what they're doing in their life. And, you know, you might accidentally keep their company. Praising their actions, can they not do anything good that can be praised? And displaying pleasure at their condition without condemnation. So what if they have like a very nice something and you're like, oh, it looks nice. They got like a nice statue in their front yard, or they got some nice tires on their car. In our modern context, mudahana may be applied to a conspiracy of silence when it comes to other people's transgressions and blatant deviations. Conspiracy of silence. Other people's transgressions and deviations. It is turning one's eye away from those who commit abominations for some worldly gain. Oh, but then some people say, mind your business. You know, if you can't put your nose in what other people are doing. I mean, complete deviations, you can only do so much. And, I mean, I guess sometimes you gotta say it, but sometimes you gotta let people go into the wall. They gotta learn on their own. You can't force anybody to do anything. You can bring the horse to the river, but you can't make it drink. You can yell at the donkey to go. He don't want to go, he ain't gonna go. So, I mean, people gonna do what they do. You just gotta work on you. But, I mean, you shouldn't. I guess it really depends. I understand where it's coming from. Like, if somebody's doing something that's clearly bad, you don't want to praise it, but it really would depend on what it is. Because I can already think of several examples where that wouldn't apply. And then one other times when of course it would. What do you think, fam? Treatment. The cure for fear of poverty is to have a good opinion of God. Says the Imam. God states, I do not desire from people any provision, nor do I desire that they feed me. Quran 51:57. Okay, so you can have, I don't see why you can't have a good opinion of God, though, and still not, and just fear poverty. Because poverty is a horrible condition. Yes, I get you want to be content. You should be content. But then you border on laziness. Right? That's the thing. It's hard because some people will take that and say, I can be content not to work hard. I'm okay with being poor. Government can give me handouts and I can just sit here. But there are people who are motivated to keep working hard because they want money. Because they want to buy a house. They want to pay for college and they fear being homeless because they want to, do what they want to do. I don't think they think the bad opinion about God. They just kind of feel like it's their duty to work hard. Do you know what I'm saying? People who harbor good thoughts about their provider deflect insidious whisperings about him. I mean, it's not a whispering anybody about, like, if I fear poverty, I just think, like, dang, man, like, this is my first time ever taking unemployment. Before, it's like, okay, you don't got it. You didn't get enough hours, you keep going. I never thought about, like, whisperings about God or anything. I didn't think negative. Sometimes you feel like God's testing you and you're like, oh, it's a punishment. But that didn't make my opinion permanently bad or anything. It's just like, well, you gotta work, you gotta grind, you gotta hustle, you gotta flow. What do you think? And the subtle provocation that creates irrational fear. His dominion is never diminished in the least when he gives to his creation all that they need. And if someone else is given more, one should not harbor bad thoughts towards that person. Yeah, don't get jealous. Try not to, right? Wholesome thoughts about God express themselves in one's contentment with what he or she has. So being happy with what you have will show that you are happy with God. And not in stretching one's eye toward the assets of others. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, contentment is a treasure that is never exhausted. Yeah, like I get happy with simple rice and boiled cabbage and boiled eggs, vinegar, right? Those are wholesome thoughts. But you still gotta be like, gotta pay the bills on time because you don't want to get in credit card debt, because you don't want to go in poverty. You don't want to take out loans you can't pay back because you don't want to declare bankruptcy. That's a fear of poverty. Keeps you responsible, keeps you financially aware of your situation. What do you think, fam?